Hey nerds, Alex here from Nerds Being Geeks, and guess what I got? My books came back from CBCS. Let's check it out. Before we get into the video, please like, share, and subscribe to Nerds Being Geeks. I got another CBCS video that hit over 2K, which is amazing since my channel is... it's tiny. So if you like this CBCS haul, please consider subscribing to Nerds Being Geeks. Alright guys, so this is my latest CBCS haul. It's not as big as the last one, but it'll do. It'll do. These books were sent in through Cody Lockwood, who is a Michigan comic book dealer in Southeast Central Michigan and also works for CBCS. So that's cool. So these books were submitted through Cody Lockwood back in April. So currently that makes it around 7 to 8 months turnaround time for these. That turnaround time is much higher than what it was with my previous video that had a lot more books. I think that one only took about 4 months. And when those ones came back, I gave them a few more to send in and get graded. And they finally came back. All right, so let's get into this. I'm gonna take it out of... So the first book I got here is Amazing Spider-Man 121, 6.5. God, I'm sure there's a ton of glare, and I am sorry. So this Spider-Man 125 I bought at State of Comics, that is also located in Michigan. When I bought it, it was raw, but it had a CGC label in the bag and board, and it said it was a 5. I don't know what even happened to the label, but it was a 5.0 or a 5.5. I honestly can't remember. I bought it like a year and a half. It was just over a year ago. I bought it just over a year ago. And so I had that label. It was either 5.0, 5.5. I took it to my local comic book presser, Dan. I'll put his link in the description for you. He presses all of my books, and he did a great job. I mean, this jumped maximum a grade and a half, or minimum 1 grade. So either way, it's a win-win. So he killed it on this pressing. Love this book. I've always wanted it. Very excited that I finally have it, and it will be going in the display case. Next up is Amazing Spider-Man 122. I picked this book up through Cody Lockwood, Lockwood Loots. So he not only does he work for CBCS, but he also slings comics. And he put this on one of his claim sales, and I picked it up, had it pressed and cleaned, and had it graded. So I bought it from Cody and eventually gave it back to him to get it graded, and it came back at 4.5. This goes really well with the 121, and I'm pretty happy with it. I mean, I think those books are, if you have one, you should probably have the other. With this being the death of Green Goblin, and 121 being the death of Gwen. Hey, so cool. My camera died when I was filming that, and I rambled on for a very long time, and now I have to redo it. So, for what I paid for it, I'm very happy with it. Compliments 121, the death of Gwen Stacy, really well. Amazing Spider-Man, 122, death of Green Goblin. All right, so here's the big book that I sent in, as if those other ones weren't big enough. This classic book, ASM Annual 1, first appearance of the Sinister Six. .8. I was told that 1.8s are pretty rare from Cody, and I have 2 of them now. The other one is being the Fantastic Four 49, first full appearance of Galactus. Really happy with this book. There is no missing pages. It is complete. There's no tape. There's no color touch-ups. I am thrilled to get this book back. I'm thrilled with the grade. I didn't expect much because this book is beat. I picked this book up raw at Motor City Comic-Con 2019 for $90. $90 raw. Go ahead, do the research. I am very happy with how this book turned out. I did not get it pressed or cleaned because with it being a 1.8, it is pretty fragile. But that's why I like having it in this case. So this is my second CBCS video from my submissions that I've sent in. I haven't done a CGC one for several reasons. I sent in a CGC book back in November of 2020, so it's been over a year, and I still haven't gotten it back. It's been in grading and imaging for 3 months. I sent that book in with other books from my local LCS Rad Raptor. They send in books all the time to CGC and CBCS, and they just threw mine in there as well, which I'm thankful for. However, this turnaround time is insane. I'm actually kind of worried that they lost my book. It is a magazine book, so I know that adds a little bit to it, but a whole year? I've seen other videos where they've gotten their books back that were magazine sized in 8 to 9 months, and I'm still waiting. So it's gotten me a little worried that they lost my book. So along with me being kind of butthurt with CGC, I've been doing CBCS videos because I just like it better. CBCS has a lot more perks than CGC. I'm not going to go into super detail on all of them because my other CBCS video I'll have in the description. You can go and check that out. So just a quick thing about CBCS that I like. New cases. These things are awesome. They are very sturdy. The book doesn't move around, at least from what I've gotten. There's no inner well. The reason there's no inner well is because they don't need it. They don't need the micro chamber paper. They don't need that inner well, which if you know CGC, that inner well causes Newton rings, and that is a big issue with a lot of collectors. With this plastic, it's like keeping it in a Mylar. CBCS has stated that you will not need to replace your cases. What's that mean? CGC suggests every 8 to 10 years, just like a bag and board, to have your books recased because that micro chamber gets filled. It needs to get replaced, so I don't have to worry about re-slabbing my books. The other thing is QR codes. Every CBCS book now has a QR code on the back. And what's a QR code go to? Free graders notes. You do not have to pay for graders notes through CBCS, which is awesome. You could be at a convention, you're looking at a book, and you're like, hey, I wonder what's wrong with it. Why is it this grade? Boom, scan the QR code. It'll tell you what's wrong with the book. I haven't used this feature yet, but they have verified signatures. So, quick thing, say you have a Jack Kirby signature, and obviously there was no one there to witness it because there wasn't grading when he was alive. You can have the signature verified by CBCS and Beckett, and they can verify that it was a Jack Kirby signature, and you can get that beautiful yellow label. Everyone loves those yellow labels. They won't put that yellow label on there unless they are very, very certain that the signature is legit. CBCS is still cheaper than CGC. Look, I'm not a speculator. I don't flip my books, but I hear a lot of people complaining about the quality control with CGC, but yet still send boxes and boxes of books to CGC. And their excuse is because on the secondary market where they flip those books, they get a higher price for them. And that's fine and well, but if you're unhappy with the product, why don't you try a different one? Try a different company that grades. Everyone's like, the market dictates, how much this goes for, and CGC sells for more than CBCS. The market can change. We are the market. If you're not happy with something, why keep paying for it? If you're not happy with the service you're getting, then switch. We are the market. We dictate this stuff. And I think CBCS is at the point where they're almost right there at that level with CGC that it doesn't matter, especially depending on the book. They could probably fetch for the same amount of money. But like I said, I'm not a flipper. You guys do you, but I don't understand if you're not happy with it, why would you keep sending it in? Now, I don't want to turn this into a CGC bashing video and sound like a CBCS mark, but I'm just telling you my experiences, what I'm experiencing now. And I've come to the conclusion that I'm just going to stick with CBCS. And look, I know CBCS isn't perfect either. I'm sure they have quality control issues as well. Yes, I'm aware that the reason CGC gets all the heat because more people send more books to them. So the more books that are sent to them, the more issues that are going to probably happen. I can't recall if I mentioned this, but the turnaround time for these books was 7 to 8 months. So that means I've sent in 2 CBCS submissions and I've got them both back before the one book from CGC has come back. I find the timing of these books coming back really interesting. I mean, it is right before No Way Home comes out, and I got my Spider-Man books back, especially that Amazing Spider-Man Annual 1, the first appearance of the Sinister Six. And guess what it looks like from the trailers and what everyone's talking about? The Sinister Six is going to appear in this new Spider-Man movie. Now, it's not this classic lineup, but it's still really cool. All right, guys, so that was my CBCS haul. 7 to 8 month turnaround time. Not the greatest, but they came back. The grades are awesome. I'm happy with them, and that's what really matters. I'm not flipping them, not selling them. They're going to go in my case, especially that annual one. I have a Steve Ditko shelf. It's going to go right on there. I absolutely love it. I'm thrilled. I'll probably send out more books. Let me know if you guys are switching to CBCS or going from CBCS to CGC. I'm kind of having a horror story right now with CGC, so I'm sure there's stories about CBCS out there. And remember, nerds being geeks, there's no speculation, just comic book accumulation. Bye-bye.